Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Listen, tonight we are having a special edition of Author Talk, and I am excited for each and every one of you that will be tuning in, even for those of you that will watch the playback tonight on Author Talk. The conversation is a tad bit different from all the other nights. It's a tad bit different from the conversations we've had geared around talking about being an author, the journey of an author. Part of this conversation on tonight will be geared towards the new release book of mine, The Diary of a Single Mom. Tonight, I do have one of my co authors that will be coming in tonight and sharing a little bit about her journey. As if you've seen the flyer, it's a special edition on tonight. And so I just ask you to please like and share, tag a mom, tag a supporter, or anyone in this live, because tonight this will not be an ordinary author talk. So share, tag a friend, tag a mother, most definitely. We want all the moms in the building. We know we are approaching Father's Day weekend, and I don't mess around with none of that. And I ain't intruding on Father's Day weekend, but the conversation tonight is geared around mothers. As like I said, we just released The Diary of a Single Mom, which made bestseller. And if I can be honest, for that book in particular, that book made bestseller like in a matter of, I think, a couple of hours. And I'm so, thankful and grateful to God for what He's done. But I just didn't expect it to happen as fast as it did. But God is God. And so even as we're talking about God, He's the foundation of all things. And we really, tonight, how this conversation will go, we have to have the clear understanding that we are nothing without Him. We can't do anything without the Lord. And so I won't hold any longer. We have our guest, ROSHANDA, in the building tonight. And again, she's going to talk about the journey as far as being part of the Diary of a Single Mom, but it's so much more deeper of a conversation that we will have. And so I want you guys, as I've already stated, share this live. If I've never told you to share nothing else, I'm telling you tonight to share this live. It's not gonna cost you nothing to share the live tonight and tag a mom, because again, this conversation is definitely going to be different, and I know that it's going to bless you. I'm guaranteed that something tonight will bless you. So make sure you do that. I won't further hold any longer, Ashanda. I'm going to bring you into the room so we can get this conversation. We can get it started. How are you?
I'm good. I will say I don't want to be cliche
You
and
say
just
I
say
want to
I'm
be
good.
clear.
I'm not
Okay.
good, but I'm good.
Amen.
Considering, at the end of the day, I'm good. No, I don't have any complaints. And
Yeah.
if I did, that's not going to help me anyway. So I'm here. I'm pressing my way into victory in every moment. It's a moment by moment kind of season right now.
Amen. Amen. You know what? I just thank and bless God even for taking this time, you taking out the time of your evening from away from your children, right, to come here and to talk. But as we had the conversation on the phone, I dare not to talk about this or let this thing be made known. And I think I've even told you it's bigger. I mean, this conversation tonight with you is so much bigger than actually promoting the Diary of a Single Mom. It just so happened to be that that's what was in place as
Right.
the events took place.
Yeah.
And again, I publicly just giving God the praise and thanking God for you and the tenacity that you've had to continue on the journey, as those that are tuning in, and those that will tune in, and those that personally know you, and those that don't know you, to
Yeah.
know that in the process of this writing, you lost your son. And so tonight conversation, I really want you to kind of start off with just telling us about even the overall journey as you started, and then we can segue into what has happened. You
Hmm.
can share as much as you like. You don't have to share too much. It would totally be up to you how what you want to give tonight. But I definitely wanted to give you the space and the opportunity for us to talk about this, because it's a big deal. And I don't know if you personally And we'll let everybody know that the Diary of a Single Mom, the book was dedicated to Roshanda and her son, being that he transitioned in the process of that, and it was just dear to my heart. So I don't know if you took out the time to read what that dedication was saying, but I as a mom, it's many different things that we take as hardships, and many different things as a mother that we suffer through, but no one would dare to want to go through, or like, Lord, it's me, raising our hand
Right.
for
No.
that, right? No one raises their hand. And so I just, I wanted to say that because as a mother, it is so many things we could take up on, and it's so many things, honestly, we have to grieve, right? But some of those things, it's like I would rather have this over that. So tonight, just giving you the space just to share, and just flow however you feel led to flow, but just letting us, how did your journey start off with even wanting to be a part to share in a Diary of a Single Mom?
Okay, well, first I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity to share your platform and your gifts and your talents, and you've definitely been a blessing and an inspiration through the process. And I'm just here to, when you have the opportunity to ask you if they want to be a part of the Diary of a Single Mom. Uh, I had so many reasons to say no, but I had so many more reasons to say yes, because I've been married before. I've been in a marriage and I was still a single mom. I've been in the relationships and still a single mom. So it's just like, that's just really what it has been for me. And just, wanting to share a little bit of my story. And I remember, I guess I'm hard of hearing because I think you said we were going to write like 2 chapters, and I'm over here just writing. And you sent me back. You was like, I said 500 words. And I'm like, I could say 500 words in 2 minutes. So let me go to back this thing up. Because
Girl.
I'm definitely a talker. So, yeah, so I'm just really excited to be in this space, and I'm very grateful for you to dedicate this book, this, I think it's just more than a book. You know what I'm saying? It's not a book. It's just people are just opening up their hearts and their lives, and just being willing to share that with somebody who you never know, that just needs to, that can learn something from all of our experiences. So I'm just completely just grateful um for the opportunity. And like you said, this isn't a situation where nobody wants to raise their hand for this line right here. This is difficult. And that's like, I'm here, I have a screen on my thing. I'm gonna close it because it has like these little pictures that just pop up randomly, and it's like of my son. And it's like, as much as I love his beautiful face, I have to tell him, not today. Not today. I don't want to cry. I don't want to be in a sad space. But it was just even a challenge for me to put my mind in the space for this moment, to just talk, you know what I'm saying, to get out of my own feelings, to see how I could add some value to somebody who may be listening, and who may be a single mother, or whatever the situation is. So I don't really want to get off topic, but I do want to just once again thank you for the opportunity, and I thank you for allowing God to giving you the vision and you giving birth to it, because probably I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure I've had a lot of ideas, and you just sit on them. You know what I'm saying? So now is a season for us to all get off our thoughts and our ideas, and just know that if God gives us the vision, He will bring provision, and thing will work accordingly. So you really have to just, it's a faith run. We never know. Everything we do is just by faith. So I
Amen.
want to say thank you for that.
Amen. It's interesting that, I don't even feel worthy to do none of the things that which God called me to.
Yeah.
But I have found that everything that He has given me is unique. It's very unique in such a way. And so even for that, like I said, when we were in the process of the project, first of all, let's talk about the first meeting.
Okay.
When I was like, I was saying, when who gonna move forward, I looked up. I was like, oh, but Shanda ain't playing. She was like, let me pay my fees. Like,
I
oh,
like it.
now let me just get this out the way, right?
Yeah.
And so even in the process of that, of just, going like, okay, we're on this journey. We're writing a diary
Yeah.
entry. We know diary entries are very private. Girl, I remember, I think back to when I was young. I had my little diary at 7 years old. I can't remember what I was talking about in that diary, but it's very intimate thought of what you're going
Yeah.
through or something you may have experienced. And so when it was talking about the diary of a single mom, I don't believe as mothers, like not just the single mothers, but I don't believe as mothers, sometimes we have that safe space to vent.
Right.
And in the event that we do, we feel like, we mother, so it's due that we do these things, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really talk about the being tired and the this or that, or I ain't doing, I had to cook and all, because we look at those things that they're like, that's the obligation, that's a part of being a mom. So you don't get
Yeah.
to talk about them. So then, coming together to have each and every woman share, that was one thing, talk about the journey, talk about the things that were dear to their heart. But again, we're in the process of talking about stuff we have gone through, we are going through.
Hmm.
And out of anything that could have happened in your life, it was being a mother was being under attack, as we talk about being in an intimate space of sharing about being a
Yeah.
mom. And you as a mom, that was a great attack to be a mother to. No mother wants to bury their kid. I don't You ask any mom what choice, and is we want to lay down our lives. We don't want our kids to suffer without us,
Any
but
day.
we would rather it be them laying us down than us laying them down, right? So to
Yeah.
talk about being a mother and
Yeah.
the very thing we're
Yeah.
talking about, you have being a mom, it was you were tested, you was tried, and I was
And
over here like it's your
out.
story, but I was like, God,
Yeah. And
what's wrong?
it is definitely an alternate because it's like everything that I do, my reasons, my why, is to to lay a foundation down for my kids in the events that I transition.
Right.
So we're like in the building season, and right in the middle of the building season, it's like, it's like my why I became a mother, was because of Elijah. Why, all these experiences that I've learned in his 19 years of life is all because of Elijah, whether it was good, bad, and different. It's all of it has been centered around this young man,
Hmm.
centered around this young man. And it's just like, and I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it without getting emotional, but it's a tragedy. For me, it's like it's like the star player, it's out the game. So, you can either, you can stop playing all completely, you know what I'm saying, and wait till next season, or you can just keep it going with the other teammates. And that's how I really look at my children, as we're all one team. And it's like, you don't know. And Elijah, on the 26th of this month, he would have been 20 years old. So that was
Okay.
big for me, for him, because he wasn't at home with me for a while. And then he just decided, he called me one day and said he wanted to come home. And I said, come home. And then it was a great opportunity because I just had got my first truck, and I was like, I'm about to go to do this. I'm about to go. He was like, I'm with it. So he was like my courage and my motivation. And I told him so many things that I'm scared of. And I said, well, if we get to any mountains, I ain't going over no mountains. If we get to any bridges, I ain't going over any bridges. But he was just that courage that I needed. And I'll be like, Elijah, is that a bridge? He was like, yeah, that's the bridge. Don't look to the left or the right. Just keep going. And I just remember those moments. And I have these pictures that we took along the trip where he was taking pictures of the bridge. He was like, so when you get back home, you can see what you overcame. So now, and I remember the night I got home after our 15-day drive from Chicago, everywhere, back to LA. And I said, I want you to know that I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without you. I said, because you were like my motivating force. And he said, well, Mom, out of all the things you know how to do, why is truck driving one of them? And I said, because I love my freedom. And I'm a free spirit. I can't be contained. I'm just that's just who I am. So driving and that stuff has always been what I like to do, amongst a lot of other things. But that was something that I just felt like I can kind of like get him involved in, because he was so young. And I was trying to, keep him off the streets and keep him from the drinking and the drugging and the girls and all that kind of stuff. Just trying to keep him focused. And he was 19, like I said, but the law had just passed where you can be 18 years old to get your CDL. So I was really trying to get him to see, the opportunities that was right in front of him with making the money, with traveling, with trying to do all these other things to kind of get him out of his environment and the mindset of his friends and everything that he was around. So um I don't know what it was all for. I'm just grateful, and like I expressed to you that time I seen you at church, and I told you guys that I went across country and we didn't get paid. Still haven't gotten paid to this day. So I
Oh
look
wow.
at it. I look at it as God just giving me those days with my son because he hadn't been home with me in 4 years, and he just came home the end of October, and we left and we went across country November. No, October, was it November? Yeah, November 1st. And we left all into November 15th. So that was the first time that I had been with my son in that space, just me and him for so long. And it was needed. Like the first 2 days was kind of awkward. Then we kind of just talked and just kind of unfolded. And there was a lot of tears and a lot of laughing and just really, expressing to him a lot of stuff. And by him being older than he was when he left at 15, going with his dad and his dad's family, he just reassured me that at that time he just didn't understand. He just didn't understand what I was trying to keep him from. He just thought that, the freedom that he had and, the manipulation and all the stuff that he was kind of like being fed along the way. He just didn't know any better. But he said, now that I'm older, I want to come home because I see what you've been saying all along.
Hmm.
And he would come to my room and say, Mom, remember you told me about such and such? He was like, you was right. And I would just always try to encourage him like I'm Team Elijah's. Like, I don't care how my delivery may come across. You are my best interest. My best interest is for you to do well. When you do well, I do well. So we have a lot of teenagers who are influenced by the world, and they sometimes think that I don't even know if they even think that the parents have been 19 years old. So it's like,
Right.
I've been 19 years old, so you really can't tell me what 19-year-olds do and what they say because I got you here.
Right.
I
Listen.
got you here. So it's like he looked at me like, but you he was like, but you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do. I said, I choose not to. Not because I don't want to. I just don't have that desire because I was able to experience some things and I watched life happen to other people around me. And I didn't want that to happen to me. And I didn't want that to be my children's story. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
with the alcohol and the abuse and the environment, I never wanted that to be the story. But as our children grow up, they're influenced by more people than us, and
Hmm.
most of the time in the younger ages, what looks cool to them or what feels cool or what feels good or what's appeasing to their young spirit at the time is kind of what they kind of lean into.
Yeah, definitely. We're
Yeah,
definitely in a different time than what it was when
yeah.
we were growing up. Um, and one of the things you were saying, it was interesting. You was like, we still ain't got paid, right? And one of the things that I understand to know that God has a way of doing a thing,
Yes,
right?
for
He
sure.
definitely he definitely has a way. We may go in thinking it's one thing, and the
Yeah,
Lord will have
and
a
I'm
totally
grateful
different.
for that. I'm grateful
Yeah,
that
we
so
have
yeah.
a totally different other. Because here's the thing, even I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I know that um, all this was taking place in the process of leading up to, well, you wanted to be a part of the diet because I think the advertisement.
Yeah,
So
because
all of
I
this was
had signed up before all this happened.
right, and
Yeah,
so
I had
that's what I'm
signed up
saying.
before it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, you signed up and it was like we're talking about, whether we're going to call it a story manuscript, we're
Yeah.
going to call it a diary entry. We talking about preparing to write something, right? And God will have a way to prepare us to get, he was literally preparing the story. Though if
Yeah.
we can be transparent about the background of it, the
Yes.
story could have been present, the story could have been
Yeah.
something that you dealt with years ago, but
Yeah.
it was just the opportunity to share. And
Yeah.
so God was giving you something to talk about
Yeah.
um along the journey. But here's the thing, this is what for me is, in the event that this happened, in it, when I saw it, you know, uh I was just like, me, I was so heartbroken for you. I was like, it's no way she finna continue on right in this space. It's no way. I mean, it's no, I was like, mm-mm. And I know how I deal with grief and loss. So I was like, it's no way. So I was like, I was giving it time, wanting to reach out to you. And then when I reached out and you was like, I'm gonna continue on, I was like, what's wrong with her? Like me, I would have been like, girl, bye. Give my son back.
Yeah.
But I bless God that you stood and you continued on with what he had given you. I
Yeah.
mean, you continued on, because even as your son, it would have been something he would have been like. I mean, now today, I really feel in my spirit, if he was here, he would have been throwing them books like, Mama, you better go tell, like Mama, let's go get a table. Like,
Yes.
always seeing him, encouraging, motivating you. So,
Yeah.
to have lost him in the midst of this, again, I mean, like you said, he's the star player.
Yeah.
He's the reason, like you could say, he the reason why you became a mom. He's the first child, your
He's
firstborn
it.
child. The
Yeah.
reason why you became a mom. We're talking about being
Yeah.
mothers. And I mean, even with the book, the ultimate goal was for it to be released around Mother's Day. So I
Yeah.
just say, just as a mom, like, for me right now, my one of the things is, I look at being a mom, was the unique part is being a special needs mom and caring for my son in a way. And people don't, everybody's not walking in
Yeah.
those shoes. They can't understand that. I mean, to be a mother,
Yeah.
in this season of your life, to have to grieve the loss of your child, no one can tell you like, oh, Rayshanda, I get it. Nobody can ever tell you that they get it, because they don't get it, because they're not you. And so it's just, I wanted to give you the space to talk about it, because I even thought, with doing a dedication, it wasn't, I'm very sentiment about certain things. And so I was like, it's amazing. I thank God that we did the book. I
Yeah.
bless God and wanted to dedicate it, but it wasn't no marketing piece for me. Like,
Yeah.
this is very dear to my heart,
Yeah.
that we talk about this and that we share this, that as a mom, you lost your baby, and you still decided to continue on the journey of writing. And even not even that, it's like now we even, because we've had a lot of behind the scenes conversation, but even now you have, you creating a legacy in remembrance of him. So I want you to kind of talk about that. One thing I also want to say this, and I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna let you kind of talk more to it. I even think about, at your son's service, how them kids committed their life to Christ. Like they was up there, like they gave their life to God, and it wasn't just a five. It was a whole truckload of children that gave their life to Christ, at your son's homegoing service. So I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk about the foundation you're created, and you've already, talked about his birthday coming up, but talk to those things about him, and even any upcoming events that you have geared around, in his remembrance.
Okay. Yes. Well, that whole experience with his service was just definitely a move of God. Um, because that's all I can say. It was. It was God. I remember Elijah passed. Today makes the fourth month, the 15th. But 3 days before he passed, he said, Mama, we need to go back to church. I want us to start going back to faith. I've been a member of faith since about 2011. And when I start going through my divorce and everything, and at that time, that's when I said Elijah hadn't been home with me in like 4 years, because I went through some stuff with my ex-husband and everything, and just life was just happening. And I end up finding myself in a CPS case. I end up getting a letter saying I had to go to court and all this kind of stuff. So time went by, and when Elijah turned 18 years old, it was like, okay, well, what are you going to do? They had so many different, I don't even really know how to say it without getting frustrated. So many different voices and people talking to him and giving him advice opposite than, it sound advice, like from me, basically, me as his mother. So in the midst of all this, he had an opportunity to go to a group home. And so that's where he met all these young men. And I and at in the midst of all that, I kept saying, why? Like, what did I do? What did I say? Like, I don't drink, I don't drug. I'm trying to figure out, like, how did this kid get in this place? Well, God revealed to me he got to that place so that he can be an example for those other young kids. So Elijah said, Mom, I decided we need to go back to church. We want to go back to faith. So all the kids, so I told you it was a group of kids in my house. All the kids got excited when he said he wanted to go back to church. This is on a Sunday. So everybody said, okay, we're going to find this and we're going to do this. So all the kids want to get dressed and go to church for Sunday. Well, my baby passed that Wednesday. And I
Mm.
honestly, sometimes I feel like, when the enemy heard him say that he wanted to change his life and seen all the people that he was going to bring to Christ, he thought he had it set up, but God had a greater purpose. And it's just like all those young men are just, they are Elijah. You know what I'm saying? They are Elijah. And I think I have a new respect for Elijah as a brother in Christ and not as a son. Because everything that I was telling him not to do, he didn't really care. He still did it. I mean, I could go buy him shirts and he passing out the shirts. I can cook food and he passing out the food. And I'm looking at, and so I just got to the point where it's like, I'm not about to even argue with this kid. I found myself trying to accommodate him because I felt like my house was the safest place for not only him, but for his friends at the same time. And so I just, I was trying to just kind of like move myself in this space because now when he left home, he was a 14-year-old baby. And when he came back, he was a 19-year-old young man that had a lot more experience in areas that I was made aware of. So when he brought all these young guys to my house, I really took on them as if they were my kids because I said at the end of the day, they are somebody's kid. And when they
Right.
come in this house, I don't want them to think anything different than me, but I'm their mom too. Because you're in my space, I'm feeding you, I'm taking care of you. I'm telling everybody to get up and clean up. So I looked at them, all of them, as my kids. And I just really never knew the assignment for Elijah's life. And a part of me saying, Lord, 19 years isn't a long time, but in God's time, in 19 years is enough to complete his plan
Amen.
for Elijah's life. So I look at it, I try not to look at it in a selfish way as he's mine, he's my son. But the reality of it, he's mine, and God gave me the assignment to give birth to him. He's my child, but he is my brother in Christ. So
Amen.
I have to remind myself, because I'm a little selfish, I'm a little selfish. And I'm like, well, God, you gave him to me, so he's mine. But the reality of it is, none of our kids belong to us, they belong to God. And we have to learn how to fall in love with the spirit of the person because we're so attached to that, the flesh that we see and we can touch and we can hold. Uh, and the spirit is just a phenomenal thing to even experience, to just to know that my son, his body isn't here, but I feel his presence. When I'm driving and I'm in my car by myself and I'm crying, it's like I hear him talking to me. And it's like, okay, I got it, I hear you and everything. And it's like he comes to me a lot in my dreams. Sometimes I wake up laughing because we always give each other this little look when we think somebody lying. We look at him and be like, so I wake up and I have that little joke in my mind. I'm like, so little things like that keeps me going. Little things like that keep me going.
Your screen went black.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to see what my screen look. I'm like, oh
Your
Lord
screen
God.
went.
But can
Your
you hear me? I'm trying to get the screen back. But can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I definitely could hear you, but your screen
Okay.
is still black. And so while you getting that together, for everyone that's tuning in, tonight I wanted to do a special interview with ROSHANDA. ROSHANDA is one of the co-authors of the Diary of a Single Mom. And as we've been talking about in the process of us writing the project, ROSHANDA 19-year-old son lost his life. And in the process of that, Rayshanda still decided to stay on the project to continue out to write her diary entries to share with being a mother. And so we share as there are so many things. We don't want to end. This is not an attempt to
Right.
intrude on Father's Day weekend. We go give the daddies a shout out, right? But we talked about just being moms and how how the journey is. So sometimes you don't have the space to complain. Sometimes you don't have the space to worry about you because you have the little ones that you have to worry about. And again, for
Yeah.
her story, it was bigger than just worrying about her little ones. She literally was walking this thing out while preparing a homegoing service. You're preparing clothes or preparing to get all of those things together to bury her child. And so I didn't want that to be overlooked. I definitely wanted that to be something that was given conversation to. And so that's why we're here tonight having she back. We're here tonight having that conversation about what that journey has been like for her. Even what her memories of her son, and she's going to share also some stuff that she has coming up. Um, you know,
Yes.
as a legacy she's created, and
Yeah.
it's birthday coming up. And so everyone, those of you that are watching that will watch the replay and everything, the link to the organization page is in the comments. Be sure to like and share this post as well. It might We never know who it will bless. And be
Yeah.
sure to follow Rayshanda as well. Um, to be updated, stay updated, stay connected. She has other amazing things that she does outside of being a mom. So you guys make sure you stay connected. But Rayshanda, I was gonna let you finish since you didn't
Okay.
came back in the room.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, but yeah, his birthday is gonna be June 26th, and I decided to do a balloon release in Signal Hill, Long Beach, California. Anybody know Signal Hill? So
Uh-huh.
we're gonna do a balloon release there. And then for his legacy and to continue the memory of Elijah Rufus, I have started a foundation. But right now, his brother and his sister, they want to add their 2 cents. So I have to give them that opportunity. The two older siblings, they want me to change the name to the foundation. So right now it's just the Elijah E. Rufus Foundation. Um, so basically, what we're gonna just do is just shed a lot of light on through this organization is the foster system that disadvantaged foster youth. Because even though Elijah had a home and he had a mother and everything, he was technically still a foster kid.
Mm.
So he was technically still a foster kid. So, and a lot of his, I would say 90% of his friends who attended the service are disadvantaged, homeless foster kids. So that means I've taken these kids to Child Protective Services, tried to find them placement, and they've told me, well, basically, we have nowhere for them to go, which I think that's a disservice to our children when you can take them away from their family and their friends or whatever, then you put them in a group home or a foster home, but now there's nowhere to go. So that's why we have so many homeless teenagers out here who are foster youth. So my goal is to create a space for these foster youth, and not only just for the 18 years old, from 18 to 30 years old, because they're not being given the proper tools to really thrive and to live in the world. They're given a little stipend every month. They give them $1,000, so they would prefer for them to go find a room for $700 or $800 and then have a little pocket change and be quiet until the next month. But we all know that's not right. So even Elijah's situation, he wanted to come home and he was threatened by his social workers and, well, we're going to stop the money if you decide to go home. So we didn't care. The money wasn't the issue to us. So it's like, okay, we'll keep the money, we still going home. But for those young kids who, and the thing I think the issue that needs to be pressed that I would like to raise awareness, if these kids have monthly stipend that the state is giving them, and they're 18 years old, allegedly they're adults, right? And they're able to make their own decision. Why wouldn't it be a thing that they can do to continue to help their family if their family is in need? Well, financially, it makes more sense to help your mom and your family out and give them a couple of bucks other than paying strangers $700 to $800 to rent a room. So definitely our mission is to help disadvantaged, displaced foster youth boys. There's a lot of girls out there, but my mission right now is just to work with the disadvantaged youth boys and provide them jobs and opportunity, job skills, resume, work readiness is as far as even wardrobe, because we are in a total different world. So even the wardrobe and the attire, everything looks different than from where I'm from. So that's definitely what we want to start with, finding some permanent, temporary, at least 18-month temporary housing programs for these young boys, but but still be a family member to them. So you want to basically want to teach them to fish, not give them the fish.
So yeah, everyone that is tuning in, be sure to follow. I put the organization link in the comments. I've also tagged Rayshanda in the comments as well. And I'm asking you guys to support the
I
organization,
appreciate
support
that.
her. It was very powerful again it was saddened to be able to have to attend the service of her 19-year-old son. But what I tell you, the power of God that happened in there. I mean, my upbringing and what I was brought up in. I saw a lot of younger me's in the building, and it was very powerful to see those young men and women come to the altar crying
Yes,
out.
indeed.
Even when the 2 minute remarks, those young men and those young women. One girl was talking about. I remember she said something about how your son was speaking life to her about her being a lawyer and her being different from her family, about him going to um he was going to the doctor with her. And when you was talking about all the kids, he didn't hid the kids in the garage trying to provide a home for at risk teenagers that's out there.
Yeah.
He taking a chance of getting in trouble by his mama.
And getting his
um,
mama in trouble and everybody in trouble.
Right, to provide a roof
Yeah.
over, his friend's head,
Yeah.
and that's something so very powerful. We always say, even scripture says, what the enemy meant for bad, God will turn around for good. Though
Yeah.
the tragedy is very hurtful, and it cause you to think of many different things and cause you to be in a negative space, but we give glory to God because even as his life, he gave up his
Yeah.
life. There were people that submitted their life to God, and I told
Yes.
you, I've been
Yeah.
back to faith, and I saw one of them young men that gave
Yeah.
his life to Christ today. I see him at a church service,
Yeah. That's good.
so I was like, it just didn't stop that day.
No.
It didn't stop that day. Those
Didn't
kids are
stop.
still, it's still, and so that's what we want to.
And they
That's what I
still
want to
call,
highlight here.
they come by and they want to know if they
Yes,
still call me mom. And I'm like, I'm gonna forever be your mom.
right, right,
I'm
right,
going for,
right.
but just like that does, I mean, he's not here, but he's with us. So we plan to, to do a lot of stuff. And I keep telling those boys, if you need to talk or whatever the situation is, please call me, because I will be less than a mom to not hear what these babies have to say. And,
Right.
and
Yeah.
knowing
I
their
mean,
situation and knowing that my son trusted me enough to bring these babies to me. And he will
yeah.
always say, Mom, all of them want to be here. You should open up a group home. You should do this. I'd be like, but where's the money? Yeah, where's the money? I was like, so I'm always excited. I mean, he just shift the whole atmosphere with his attitude and his personality. Because he drove me nuts too. So, so he
Don't
he
they
drove me
all?
nuts. He drove me nuts. And I find joy looking at his text messages, and he got about 50 moms. Mom. I'm like, is it another word that you can use? And it's just like, oh my goodness, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for Mr. Elijah Emmanuel Rufus, because he is definitely my why. He's been the fuel to my fire for 19 years, and he's still the fuel to my fire. And my prayer is, God, to just for me to be in this space and to be a mother of 7 and I still have 6 children that are home. I'm just really asking God to just show me how to not to take the love that I have for Elijah and deposit it equally in all the other 6. um and it's like, it's still difficult. It's still difficult for me every day. It's kind of like, it's challenging, because my older 3, they all are by my ex-husband, so they all look alike. And it's like, I can call Makai, and the way he looks at me, he reminds me of Elijah. And God is so good. We were able to go see their father, I think 2 or 3 days ago, and we hadn't seen him in a long time. So God was just good. And I'm just grateful for all that, because I know, I don't know scripturally, but I was reading something where it says sometimes you have to sacrifice the one for the 99. And the love that Elijah has for his friends and his family and his siblings, I can definitely see him sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
So I'm just reminded that, I just have another level of respect for him as a brother in Christ and as my son.
Yeah, it's saying leaving the 99 for the one. And
Yes.
if we want to flip it, he's the
Yeah.
one
Yes.
sacrifice for the 99, because
Yes.
here's the thing. Those kids came in that building.
Yeah.
Those kids submitted that. I mean, they
They did.
cried. It blessed me to see those
Yes.
young men and women. And when I was going back to faith, I was just going just to start attending because I was blessed by the service, and I just
Yeah.
happened to see one of the young men, and I was like, wait a minute, I remember him from the service, right?
Wow.
And so, we being honest, like I said, those kids that are out on the street, some of them, like, Christ probably was never presented to them, or at least not presented to them
Mm-hmm.
in a way. And
Yeah.
he represented Christ in a way that he wasn't no Bible toting Christian, right? He didn't have, but the love that he had, to, like, listen, I might get in trouble by my mama, but
Yeah.
we finna sleep in this garage, like, I'm not gonna let you be outside. It was one young man talking about how he had went to jail and he got out,
Yeah.
and your son would, let him come stay there. So that's the love of Christ. That's demonstrating who Christ is. And we talk about being in the likeness and the image of Jesus. And we know that Jesus hung on the cross to sacrifice his life for us,
Yes.
right? And so if
Yes.
we gonna be in any likeness, and we gonna say we
Yes.
we
Right.
we, we imitating Christ, there's a part of us that we gonna have to sacrifice something.
For
It's
sure.
hurtful.
Yeah.
I mean, even as me talking to you as a mom to have lost your child, I just say that I bless God that you can stand here in strength tonight, and share and talk. And you got a legitimate reason to be pissed off, right? And mad and angry. But
Right.
yet you have desire, you have made a decision like,
Yeah.
Lord, I still trust you. And so it's just been a blessing to chat with you and have you here. I didn't tag the organization in there. I didn't told
All right.
people to follow
Thank
you.
you,
Listen,
God.
I ain't playing, and the
I
people are coming
appreciate
in.
you.
Yeah, and so just again, just wanting everybody to support her, love on her, even if the Lord is leading you to pray for her. Um,
Yeah.
you know, you know, allow yourself to be used by God, because it is it's a bit much. I think when we talked, I said for me, I lost my daughter at 5 days old, and that losing my pet, to have carried her and lost her, to have to bury her, that was detrimental to me. So for 19 years, I mean, and y'all just did a trip and all those things, and to look up and your son is gone. It's a great level of pain that I know that you have gone through, and that you're still, yeah, traveling through. So I just publicly want
Mhm.
to just celebrate you and love on you, and just tell you to keep going on. And I'm always you. I didn't say this privately, so I can say it
Yeah.
publicly.
Yeah.
If you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm always a ear to hear, coming to pray for you. And I told you I was gonna drop in on you. I said I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop in on you one day. I was like, she probably like, get away from my door, because some people
No.
be like, don't pop in on me. But you was like, no, you welcome to pop
Yeah.
in on me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. She said
I
I
know,
can
because
drop
even
in
my
on.
kids, they would say, "Whatever happened to the guy Ricky,
Oh, right.
the
Lord,
teenager?"
Ricky. Lord, Ricky. Jesus, Ricky. But Ricky getting ready to get him a caregiver, so his mama can
That's a
move, be a
blessing.
little bit more flexible,
Okay.
because he getting someone. But yeah, just
Yes.
uh, it was a big deal to have shared. And I just thank God, even as I said, like what brought us to this point was the diary of a single mom. And even
Yeah.
as if the co-authors that watch the playback, because I've been tagging them, blessing them too, because even when it came to that place, and we was in a group, how they was loving on you and praying and wanted
Yeah.
to
I
be
appreciate
assistant.
that.
And then, them not some of them not even personally knowing you, but reaching
Yeah.
out like, hey, I want to be a support to her. I mean, because as a mother, that for
Yes.
us the idea of it is
Yeah.
enough, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you to have walked through it, so I just again say we love you. Continuously praying for you, continuously supporting you. So just continue to go on. God got you. He gonna
Yes.
get you through. Take it one day at a time. Grief is not something that you finish in one race. You might have to go back through it again and again and
Hmm.
again. So I just, I wanted to give this time to you to love on you publicly, and give
I
you the
appreciate
space
it.
to share and talk about your son. Y'all, her son's 20th birthday is coming up. You say what, the 26th?
Yeah, June 26th.
Yeah, coming up to 26. So yeah, that's a whole nother something that she has to prepare for.
Yeah.
A birthday without him, and this is the first one. So if I can't ask for anything, if you're not gonna follow, if you ain't gonna support the organization, pray.
This
Pray,
right.
pray
Yes.
for her,
Right. I
intercede
appreciate
on
it.
behalf of her. I'm not sure if I see Janetta just came in, and I don't know if you know Janetta, but Janetta lost her son too sometime
Okay.
recently. Yeah, so Janetta, if you could even connect with Rayshanda and pray, because
Yes.
you guys know y'all burying y'all
Yeah. We
babies.
can pray together for each other.
Yeah, I don't know if she's still here. I'll definitely make sure that I personally reach out to her.
Okay.
But yeah, just praying, pray, pray, pray. Everybody that come here on tonight, pray, pray, keep her
Yeah.
lifted, keep her children lifted. And if you can pray and support whatever it is
Yes. I
that's
appreciate.
working for you, however the Lord is leading you. But we definitely want to give her the space tonight to talk about it publicly and just love on you. So I'm glad you came in. Thanks everyone that has tuned
Yes.
in.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks to everyone that will come back for the replay. This ain't even our normal night off the talk. Like, this is not our normal night. But I was like, no, we're doing this
Yeah.
tonight. And so you guys continue to share, 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 like, follow instructions, y'all. Follow
I
instructions.
want to be obedient.
Follow instructions. And if you have not purchased the Diary of a Single Mom book, head over and purchase the book. We still even we the book has been released for about 14 days now, and we're still within the top 4 of the new release. I don't know
Mhm.
who purchasing and I don't know who supporting to keep us
That's
there,
a
but
blessing.
amen. Thank you. I didn't do it for that. I did it because everything that God gives me is a healing journey. And so
Yes.
the Diary of a Single Mom was a space for moms to heal. So I ain't doing nothing for the accolades. I'm doing it to see
Yeah.
God's people free. And if you gotta be
Yes.
free and everybody and tell your story, how I mean,
Yes.
glory be to God. And so if you want to support, the link to purchase the book is in the comments. And again, we have dedicated the book to Rayshanda and her son Elijah Rufus. The information regarding the organization is in there. There's a short dedication even from Rayshanda herself to her son. So you guys check it out. Check it out. Check it
Yeah.
out. Support and love on this woman of God. You guys have a blessed evening, and I will be seeing you guys soon.
All right.